I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities.
Well guys, this video is bit different. You need to have good listening skills. It's not long. The idea to make this has been developing over my entire way through World of Warships, from being potato myself to nearly an icon. I always didn't just want to get good, but also understand how that works. I hope I have finally gotten to that point. The game you watching is ranked match. Almost everyone is good, and everyone knows how to play. The one fundamental difference I've observed in my own development as well as in other players is this difference in mindset. Bad players think about opportunities. Good players think about dangers. So if you're not performing as well as you want to, let's have a look at how to get better by approaching the game from the right mindset. First, understand how bad players throw games. Bad players always imagine ways how they can succeed. That leads to all sorts of suicidal plays. From the very start they believe things like, I will rush straight into this cap, win the fight there, take it for my team, and then we have an advantage. Of course this usually just gets them killed. For the same reasons, bad players love torpedo rushes, try to ambush enemy ships from behind islands, and always push forwards. Whatever they do, they're certain it's going to work. Until it doesn't and they're dead. And then they blame their team instead of themselves. Most people seem to believe that bad players are bad for the opposite reason, that they always camp in the back and never do anything. But surprisingly, those teammates are much less bad to have. Far and away most games are decided by which team loses more players early. If a team merely takes the caps without getting a kill lead, they will often get impatient and push into the camping enemy to throw the game because they have too many noobs who keep imagining how their rush is totally going to work. Now understand how good players succeed. So what do good players think about if they don't think about what great play to make? They think about what plays not to make. They arrive at the best possible play by eliminating all the dangerous ones first. They go priority of what dangers to avoid. First one is the danger to take too much damage. The most important counters to this are angling and using your concealment range. Good players rarely get closer to the enemy than the distance at which they can get undetected again once they stop shooting. Even if you are a BB, you want the opportunity to turn away in stealth or to repair fires and wait out your damage control cooldown. Getting into a position that you can't escape from needs to be very well planned out. Your main tool to avoid this problem is to position properly relative to your team. In a DD you need allied cruisers and BBs to scare away enemy DDs or radars from rushing you. In a cruiser or a BB you need something in front of you to screen away enemy DDs from permaspotting you. Second, they take care of position. The danger to get locked down in a position. If you aren't absolutely certain that the enemy is weaker on your flank, you want to have the opportunity to turn away safely and run before they get too close to you. This is why good players don't commit their ships early until they know more about the enemy positioning. The danger of torpedoes and airplanes. Overall fairly similar to the risks I told you before. As long as you can turn freely, you're usually going to be fine. Torpedoes are easy to stay safe from since you can use allies to spot for you. With planes, well, better pray you have some good AA cruisers on your team. Third priority. The danger to deal no damage. Obviously just being safe doesn't win you the game, but a dead ship does not deal any damage either. If you followed the checklist to this point you are sure not to be dead, so you can actually do something. In order to deal damage you need to stay in a position that 1. Is close enough to the enemy, 2. Where your guns are not stuck behind an island, and 3. From where you can quickly move on to the next battle once your current one is decided. Going around all the way at the flanks has a high risk of leaving you useless, which is why good players tend to play to more central positions. Fourth priority. The danger to lose by score. Yes, this is pretty damn far down. Ultimately the cap belongs to the last ship still afloat. It is better to get the cap a little later than to die for it, which by itself can be a 100-point swing to the enemy's favor. Most importantly, this danger means not to let the enemy get any free caps. If they take the cap, at least get an HP lead in return so that you can bully the enemy away and retake the cap later. This is also where specialties like radars become important to deny the enemy from capping safely. In summary, you need to position around caps in a way that lets you defend them. Because good players primarily think about dangers and possible mistakes, they rarely talk about great plays, but very often about bad plays. And their view games are decided by mistakes, not by heroic actions. Any successful push is only possible because the other team allowed it. Let's say you stick to the whole plays of dangers. How does a game pan out if the enemy fails at it? If the enemy fails at the first step, they overextend into your team's firepower, giving you a lead in HP or ships. Then you can slowly push the enemy away from the cap's win from there. If the enemy gets into a position where they can no longer retreat against a superior force, for example because they hugged an island too far up, you can slowly move up and pick them apart without having to take much of a risk. If they lose ships to torps or get air cancer, well, free win. And if they aren't in a position to threaten you at the caps, take the caps and wait it out. If they do not make any of these mistakes, you are now locked into an even game. The caps are presumably covered by radar and/or nearby DDs. Some cruisers may hug islands to provide radar or AA, most of them are in the open water WTH the BBs however, and are free to pick their fights. Now it's about coordinating the threat to take a cap, vision, and firepower support to get better trades on the enemy. You have a real game on your hands. If you watch this much, let's see what mistakes we made in our game. First thing, you should understand what ship you playing. As I was playing Amagi, I can't take direct fight with Roma. So I decided to join other battleships. But those two destroyers should have come to capture point B, even they went for point A. As they had no support. We lost both of those destroyers quickly, now they have number advantage. As they understand this, they started wrapping us. And we are done. Now here one question arises: what is correct form of formation? Well, here can be many formation, but ideally it's better to take control only 2 flagged and defend those 1. I prefer A and B or B and C. Like that every ship will have backup. Thanks for watching my video again. I hope you have subscribed me. If not, that's okay. Thanks again and have a good day.